Good day, everyone. I am going to discuss the Customs Memorandum Order number 22, Series of 2010, Administrative Provisions. Section 1, Base Service Section or Equivalent Office. First is the base section is in charge of boarding formalities in the entrance and clearance of foreign vessels. It supervises and implements security measures in the discharging, loading of import-export shipments, as well as to incoming, outgoing crew, passengers, and visitors on board such vessels. The Bay Service Section shall be headed by a chief who shall have direct supervision and control over personnel therein. He shall issue instructions to the Customs Senior Boarding Officer and who shall in turn be held responsible for their proper execution of the instructions given from time to time and to render reports. Section 2, Uniforms and Insignia, Tiers and Inspection Division. The Ship, Bay Service Section, Customs Senior Boarding Officers, Customs Inspectors, Customs Guards, and Wharfingers shall always wear the appropriate and prescribed uniform, insignia, nameplate, custom badge, black shoes, and regulation cup. Section 3, Duties and Responsibilities of Customs Operations Officer 3, Customs Senior Boarding Officers. A. Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall have the following duties and responsibilities. The first is board incoming foreign vessels outside the breakwater or harbor unless prevented by stress of weather. When boarding a vessel, the Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall be assisted by the Customs Inspector assigned on a vessel. Number 2. Obtain the master of a vessel the necessary information as required in BOC OPM form number 15 for records of vessels boarded. Number 3. Seal C stores in the presence of ship's officer and the Customs Inspector assigned on board. Under penalty of law, the customs seal so effects shall not be broken while the vessel is within the jurisdictional limits of the Philippines except when the vessel is in port and only upon written application to withdraw supplies signed by the master and approved by collector of customs or his duly authorized representatives. Only the Customs Senior Boarding Officers, in the presence of the Customs Inspector, may break the seal and allow the withdrawal of such quantities as may be authorized and reseal the sea store compartment after such withdrawal. Number 4. See to it that all customs inspectors and customs guard on duty are in their proper prescribed uniforms unless the customs inspector are properly uniformed. The Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall not allow their embarking on the launch and shall report them as absent. In such cases, he can assign any available unassigned customs inspector, or if no customs inspector is available, an acting customs inspector to take charge of the vessel until a regular customs inspector assigned report in proper uniform. Number 5. See to it that a customs inspector or custom guard assigned to a vessel is provided with the necessary stationery and supplies. He shall also see to it that customs inspectors have a copy of the Tariff and Custom Code of the Philippines and a manual for port operations. Next is Report of Customs Senior Boarding Officers. First is, upon his return from an official trip in the Bay, the Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall transmit to the Chief Bay Service Section or its equivalent office all reports, entries, and other documents delivered to him by the master, agent, or the customs inspector assigned on board vessels. Number 2. He shall prepare and submit his trip report on BOC OPM form number 15 for records of vessel boarded to the Chief Bay Service Section or its equivalent office and make reports of any deviation from the assignment order issued to the customs inspectors and customs guards. Section 4, Duties and Responsibilities of Customs Operations, Officer 1, Customs Inspectors. A. Customs inspectors shall have the following duties and responsibilities. The first is supervise the discharge and loading of cargo and to supervise continuous surveillance to protect the interests of the Customs Service pursuant to Section 2202 of the Tariff and Custom Code of the Philippines as amended. Number 2. Be responsible for the proper disposal of all cargo and stores on board vessels under their charge. It is their duty to see that no cargo or stores of any descriptions are discharged from or received on the vessel without authority from the collector of customs or his authorized representative. The third is represent the customs service in his official relations with the passengers, ship's officers, owners, agents, and consignees, and should see to it that the dignity of the service is not impaired. 4. Stay in the vessel to which he has been assigned until he is relieved by the proper authority, except as herein after provided, or it be necessary in the interest of the service that immediate action be taken. Number 5. Honor any order, request, or permit of any description only from the following named officials. A. Commissioner of Customs or Deputy Commissioner of Customs. B. Collector of Customs or Deputy Collector for Operations. Letter C. Chief or Assistant Chief, Piers and Inspection Division. Letter D. Chief Bay Service Section. Letter E. Customs Senior Boarding Officers. Number 6. Endeavor to work in harmony at all times with customs employees of other divisions and with the immigration officers on board with respect to the enforcement of immigration laws, rendering assistance to those officials in the performance of their duties. In case of the Philippine registered vessels returning from abroad, conducts mustering of crew pursuant to Section 1011 of the Tariff and Custom Code of the Philippines as amended. Number 7. Cooperate with quarantine authorities in the enforcement of port quarantine regulations promulgated by the Bureau of Quarantine and shall give effect to the same insofar as they connected with matters of shipping and navigation pursuant to the Section 605 of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines as amended. The next is the number 8. Familiarize themselves with the provisions of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines as amended, Customs Administrative Orders, Customs Memorandum Orders, and circular issued by the Bureau of Customs pertinent to their duties. The last is refer the matter to the Customs Senior Boarding Officer or Chief Bay Service Section or equivalent office for decision in case he is in doubt as to the proper action to be taken. Letter B. Specific duties upon assuming charge of vessel. First, it shall be the first duty of a customs inspector upon assuming charge of a vessel, especially a passenger vessel, to immediately assign a customs guard at each accommodation, ladder, or gangway with the instructions not to allow person to board the vessel without a written pass, excepting the stevedores to attend to the discharging or loading of cargoes. The second is the customs inspector shall instruct customs guards assigned on the gangway to conduct body searches, if necessary, on all person boarding or disembarking from the vessel. The third is, while the vessel is docked at the pier or the wharf, the customs inspector shall make periodic inspection to ascertain that all ropes and cables from the vessel to dock are provided with broad cords and that adequate safeguards are employed, such as the covering of the holes through which ropes and cables pass. The fourth is, if the vessel docks at night, the customs inspector shall require proper lighting at the gangway. Letter C. Relationship of customs inspectors with the customs guard under his supervision. The first is, the customs inspector shall see to it that the customs guards assigned on the vessel are in complete uniform and present a neat and clean appearance. Their official badges must be displayed conspicuously. He should impress upon them the necessity of courtesy in their official dealings with passengers, ship's officers, consignees, and other concerned. He shall instruct them that all disputes and all questions wherein the element of doubt enters should be submitted immediately to the customs inspector on board and satisfy himself that the customs guard to whom he issues instructions thoroughly understands them so that the errors may be avoided. The second is, he shall report to the customs senior boarding officers on the duty the unexplained absence of any customs guard assigned to him. Number 3. An efficiency report for customs guards shall be submitted by the customs inspector for each vessel of which he is in charge. Customs guards who are incompetent, negligent in the performance of their official duties, or guilty of disobedience shall be the subject of a special informal report which shall be submitted with the efficiency report. The fourth one is, he shall maintain a logbook to keep a record of events during his tour of duty, to include custom guards sent ashore or to another vessel on official business, specifying the following. A. Time of departure. Letter B. Nature of business. Letter C. Destination. Letter D. Where and when he is to report upon the completion of his business. Letter E. Time returned. The fifth one is it is essential that an accurate check be secured on all cargoes discharged from and loaded on. A vessel customs inspectors shall instruct their customs guards to check independently of other checkers and to submit their customs guards report. Number 6. You shall submit the discharging sequence in or inward foreign manifest duly received in the logbook by the customs wharfinger. Letter D. Report after termination of duty. The reports of the customs inspector shall include as supporting documents to the following. First is duly accomplished inspector's certificate of lading in case of berth bulk and conventional cargoes, the original copy together with the export permits to be submitted to the export processing division concerned. The second is shipside permits, if any, properly endorsed at the back thereof, with accompanying transfer notes and customs guards check report. The third is accomplished certificate of inspection or CL, certificate of identification and loading or CIL, if any. The fourth one is certificate of date of last cargo discharge accomplished by customs inspector on board and bearing the seal of the master of the vessel to be submitted to the office of the ship, piers, and inspection division or its equivalent office. The fifth one is the clearance of a vessel indicating therein the time and date the vessel actually sails and the berth assignment in the period of the time and the vessel stay at such berths and or anchorage for transmittal to the customs clearance officer. 6 is general issue permit by the customs senior boarding officer properly endorsed at the back thereof. And lastly, all shipping documents required from the master upon boarding a vessel, permits properly endorsed, and reports of all violations of customs rules and regulations that may come into his attention. All permits, entries, and other documents received by the customs inspector on the board of a vessel shall be endorsed by him upon completion of his portion of the action directed. Such endorsements shall always show. The first is the date when the action was accomplished, second is the action taken, and last the portion of the action unaccomplished, except in some instances where another customs official is to perform the accomplished action. The date and the time of receipt of any official document shall always be noted therein by the customs inspector, who shall initial the same. Section 5. Port Utilization Section. The Port Utilization Section supervises the receiving, handling, custody, monitoring, movement, and release of shipment at the piers customs zone. The Port Utilization Section shall be headed by a ship who shall perform the following functions. First is supervise all wharfingers, assistant wharfingers, customs guards assigned at the container yards outside CY, CFS, and customs gatekeepers. Second is act on all written reports submitted by the personnel under his supervision. The third one is be responsible for the conduct, vigilance, efficiency, neat and clean appearance of all personnel under him. Number 4. Required all wharfinger, assistant wharfingers, customs guards, and custom gatekeepers to be in complete uniform while on duty. Number 5. Assign his personnel properly apportioning their overtime as equitable and as fairly as possible. The 6th is exercise direct supervision over custom gatekeepers. Number 7. Inspect piers, wharves, warehouses, container fleet, and the container terminal inside the customs zone as frequently as possible, submitting to the ship, piers, and inspection division or its equivalent office such reports as may be necessary. Number 8. See to it that cargoes are transferred properly and promptly to banded carriers, banded warehouse, and private warehouses covered by proper transfer notes. 9. Recommend to the ship, piers, and inspection division or its equivalent office for the interest of the service and with consultation with the wharfingers in charge of the piers. Then reshuffling of personnel under him to the different piers. Number 10. Supervise the wharfingers in the preparation, rating, and submission to the ship of division the performance rating of all personnel under them. He shall rate all wharfingers in charge of the piers. Number 11. Recommend any personnel for deserving, capable, and willing, pursuant to civil service rules and regulations, for any promotion that are subject to be filled up. The last is implement all lawful orders given to him from time to time by proper customs authorities with regards to his section. Section 6. Duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operations Officer or wharfingers. A. At the pier or CV, CFS. Number 1. There shall be one wharfinger in charge of each pier who shall be responsible for the efficiency and discipline of customs personnel under him. Number 2. He shall exercise effective supervision over the accessory constructor's service regarding receiving, handling, custody, and delivery of cargoes. Number 3. He shall note carefully the condition of the fender piles and trough at the piers and submit reports thereon. Number 4. He shall cooperate and assist other officers of the government performing official function at the piers. Number 5. He shall supervise the cleaning of the piers and see to it that garbage and obnoxious cargoes are disposed of promptly and properly. Number 6. He shall cooperate with and assist the enforcement and security services in maintaining peace and order at the pier, including the exclusion of an unauthorized person inside the pier, shed, warehouse, and premises. Number 7. He shall recommend the transfer and shifting of cargoes from pier to pier only. The government bonded warehouses inside and outside the customs premises. Number 8. He shall process delivery permits and other types of custom permits vis-a-vis the official receipts statement of settlement of duties and taxes issued by the formal, informal entry division prior to the release of cargo. He shall, or through his authorized representative, accept delivery permits and other types of customs permits officially hand-carried by official messengers of the Bureau, and shall properly distribute the same to concerned shed, warehouse, wharfinger, where the cargoes are stored. Number 10. He shall submit daily, weekly, monthly, and annual reports through proper channels to the Ship, Piers, and Inspection Division or its equivalent office. He shall implement all lawful orders given to him from time to time by proper customs authorities. The last is he shall submit report of overstaying cargoes to the Ship, Piers, and Inspection Division or its equivalent office. D. Outside CY, CFS, or off dock. 1. There shall be one wharfinger in charge of outside CYCFS off dock who shall be responsible for the efficiency and discipline of customs personnel under him. Number 2. He shall receive the transfer note, inbound container, and inward foreign manifest from the customs guard. Number 3. He shall supervise the stripping of the containers. Number 4. He shall receive the stripping tally sheet from the CYCFS warehouseman. Number 5. He shall process delivery permits and other types of customs permits vis-a-vis the official receipt, statement of the settlement of duties and taxes issued by the formal, informal entries division prior to the release of cargo. Number 6. He shall see to it that the cargoes are released and delivered only to the proper parties in accordance with the marks, countermarks, and registry number of the carrying vessel. He shall assign a customs guard to prepare and sign transfer note, as well as supervise the transfer of cargoes to the local ports, economic zones, and bonded warehouses either inside or outside customs zones, including cost-wise transit cargoes and other places designated by customs. Number 8. In all cases of transfer of pack containers covered by the warehousing permits or other permits where duties and taxes have not been paid, the container shall be sealed with a customs seal by the wharfinger concerned in the presence of the customs examiner concerned. Said wharfinger shall see to it that the containers transferred be underguarded until received at the custom bonded warehouse by the customs warehouseman assigned thereat. Number 9. He shall maintain a logbook to record events such as examination made, hold, alert, order, notice of warrant of seizure, and detention, WSD, and samples taken. Number 10. He shall report to the collectors of customs within 24 hours from the time the article is deemed abandoned and submit a monthly report on abandoned overstaying cargoes to the office, the Ship, Piers, and Inspection Division or its equivalent office. Section 7. Duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operations Office or Designated Assistant Wharfingers. First is each cargo, shed, warehouse shall be under the direct charge and supervision of an Assistant Wharfingers who shall maintain his office inside the shed or warehouse. Number 2. He shall prepare, rate, and submit rating of his pier, shed, warehouse customs guards to the wharfinger in charge of the pier. Number 3. He shall supervise the opening and closing of the cargo, shed, warehouse. The keys shall be secured in his office and shall be returned in the box provided for in the office of the officer in charge of the pier after the shed, warehouse has been closed. Number 4. He shall not allow an authorized person inside the cargo, shed, warehouse with or without operation. Number 5. He shall process all delivery permits pertaining to his shed, warehouse before authorizing delivery of cargo therefrom. Number 6. He shall supervise closely the activities of the customs guards assigned in his shed warehouse. Number 7. He shall clear the pier berth of lighters and other obstruction during the berthing and or departure of vessel. Number 8. He shall assist the wharfinger in charge of the pier and to execute all his orders. Number 9. He shall prepare and sign transfer notes as well as supervise the transfer of cargoes to the local ports, economic zone, and bonded warehouses either inside or outside customs zone, including causeways, transit cargoes, and other places designated by customs. Number 10. He shall see to it that no inflammable, dangerous, or obnoxious cargoes are stored inside the shed or warehouse. 11. He shall coordinate with the arrestry, shed, warehouse security personnel, and enforcement and security service in the prevention of pilferage of cargoes and other anomalies to defraud the customs revenues. 12. He shall perform all functions that may be assigned to him from time to time by superior authorities. Section 8. Duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operation Officer, Custom Guards. A. At the pier or CFS. Number 1. A customs guard shall see to it that no inflammable, dangerous, and obnoxious cargoes are discharged on the dock without proper permit. Number 2. When assigned to deliver work, he shall scrutinize the delivery permit properly processed and signed by the processing wharfingers. Number 3. He shall check carefully the load on the truck against the gate pass issued in accordance with the marks, counter marks, registry number, and total number of packages. Number 4. He shall see to it that all deliveries made are duly recorded on the customs guard's delivery sheets. Number 5. He shall see to it that the wharfinger's copy of the delivery permit is retained and the same to be forwarded to the wharfinger concerned upon the completion of the delivery. Number 6. When assigned as conduction guard, he shall see to it that the cargo destined for transfer reaches its destination safely and the covering transfer note properly signed by the warehouse's men's stores keeper or wharfinger or customs guard concerned as the case may be. B. Onboard vessel. 1. A custom guard shall see to it that no person is allowed to board the vessel without a written pass excepting the stevedores to attach to the discharging or loading of cargoes at each accommodation, ladder, or gangway. Number 2. He shall conduct body searches if necessary on all persons coming in and out of the vessel. Number 3. He shall perform customs surveillance on board the vessel or on carriers containing cargo in transit that has not been released from customs supervision. Number 4. He shall check cargoes being discharged from or loaded on a vessel. Number 5. He shall act as couriers on official business. Number 6. He shall see to it that no empty lighters stay alongside the pier without proper permit. C. Outside CB, CFS, or off dock. Number 1. A customs guard shall assist the shed warehouse wharfinger in charge supervising the receiving, handling, custody, delivery, and stowage of cargo inside the shed warehouse by the arrestry operators to include witnessing the stripping, devanning, and sign the cargo stripping report. Number 2. He shall assist the shed warehouse wharfinger in attending the inventory of bad order cargo and sign the bad order inspection certificate issued by the arrestry operator. B. Others. A customs guard shall perform any other work or function that may be assigned to him from time to time by his superiors. Section 9. Duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operation Officer, designated custom gatekeepers. 1. A customs gatekeepers shall report punctually at the terminal gate assigned to him and shall remain thereat until properly relieved or otherwise directed to perform other duties by his superiors. Number 2. He shall not allow merchandise to pass through the gate without a gate pass. He shall verify the genuineness of the said pass as well as the signatures appearing thereon. He shall check the cargo covered by gate pass as to marks, numbers, quantity of packages, and registry number of the carrying vessel. Number 3. He must verify and see to it that all gate passes, customs copy, are countersigned by the wharfingers of the corresponding pier where applicable. Number 4. He shall see to it that the gate passes, with all alterations and or notations, shall not be honored without the signature of the pier superintendent and the wharfinger. Number 5. He shall collect all gate passes, which shall be submitted to the office of the wharfinger for reportorial purposes at the end of each working day. Number 6. Customs gatekeeper in charge shall supervise his men properly at the customs zone and pier gate, assisting them on whatever problems that may arise, and if not resolved, the same should be referred to the wharfingers in charge of the pier where the cargo came from. Number 7. Custom gatekeeper assigned at the exit gate shall be required to open all empty containers to verify whether they are indeed empty and shall keep records of the approved requests, permits, issues, and report any discrepancy to the office of the wharfinger in charge. Section 10. Reporting time of customs personnel. The reporting time for customs senior boarding officers, customs inspectors and customs guard are as follows. First, customs senior boarding officers, customs inspectors, and customs guards not assigned to vessel shall report at and stay in the office of the ship, piers, and inspection division or its equivalent office and in observe regular working hours. They shall perform such duties as may be assigned to them by the chief or assistant chief of the division and the ship-based service section or its equivalent office. Number 2, customs senior boarding officers, customs inspectors, and customs guards assigned to vessels arriving before 8 a.m. and after 5 p.m. shall report for duty at least 2 hours before the vessel's estimated time of arrival. Section 11. Meals and accommodations for designated customs inspectors and customs guards. A. On-board vessel. 1. The customs senior boarding officer shall, when necessary, invite the attention of the master of the vessel to customs regulations which require the serving of meals and providing suitable accommodations to customs inspectors and customs guards assigned on board. Number 2. If meals are not provided on board, the fact shall be certified by the master of ship, steward of the vessel, to entitle the customs inspector and customs guards to meal allowances at the rate provided for in existing regulations. B. To outboard travels expenses. First, customs inspectors and customs guards traveling at the request and expense of shipping lines or other entities shall be allowed suitable accommodations and actual and necessary expenses for board and lodging subject to existing rules and regulations. Customs officials and employees duly assigned on board vessels shall be furnished with suitable accommodations and free regular meals. Whenever meals are available on board a vessel, customs inspector and customs guards assigned thereon shall not take their meal as sure, except when there is good justification for doing so and only when at least a customs guard is left on board. Section 12. Leave of absence. Application for vacation leave shall be filled and approved before such leave of absence is enjoyed by any officer or employee unless prevented by unforeseen circumstances beyond his control. Application for sick leave shall be filled within 2 days after return to duty, and if in excess of 3 days, shall be supported by a medical certificate. Any officer or employee detained by causes beyond his control and unable to report duty at the prescribed hour of reporting must notify the office in which he is employed to that effect within 2 hours if practicable of such prescribed hour on the first day of absence. Absence from duty without prior permission will be cause for disciplinary measures unless satisfactorily explained.